We know that a percent is a part to total ratio where the total is always 100. Let's look at some problems that actually give us the ratio and ask us to find the percent. So in the first problem, we have 20 out of every 400 students make the honor roll in a school. What we want to know is what percent of the students make the honor roll. So let's take a look at this, and we know that the percent of the total is the part, right? So we have the percent of the total is the part, and let's look back at the problem and see what we're being given. Okay, 20 out of every 400. You see that 400 comes after the word of. That means that that's the total. And how many out of the total? Well, 20. Okay? And so you can see what we're missing in this problem is the percent. So we're going to look at this a couple of ways. The first way is our ratio table. And we're going to, of course, label. And we're going to label the part as honor roll and total students. Okay, and so what are we given in the problem? We're given that 20 out of every 400 students make the honor roll. And what do we need to find? We need to find the percent. And if you'll recall, percent again is out of 100. So as soon as I can simplify this ratio to be some number out of 100, that number will give me the percent. Well, to get from 4 to 100, I make my Amazon arrow and I have to divide by 4. And so I'm going to have to divide the 20 by 4 as well. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. So once I see that 5 out of every 100 students make the honor roll, that 5 per 100 is 5%. And so our percent is 5. Now, let's take a look at a different way to do this. I can just look at this as a fraction. So 20 out of 400. And every fraction is a division problem. So I can actually do the division to get a decimal and then convert the decimal into a percent. So the division problem here, it's always numerator divided by denominator, and that looks kind of funky because the bigger number is the divisor. Well, all that means is that our quotient is going to be less than 1, which is what we expect. Okay, so because we're talking percent, we want hundredths, so I want 2 decimal places. Well, this is going to be pretty easy because 400 does not go into 2. It does not go into 20. It does not even go into 200. But 400 goes into 2,000 5 times. Let's see, 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. And we are done. Now, what do I mean by we're done? Well, this is 0.05. And if you look, we have this is the tenths place. This is the hundredths place. And so this number is 5 hundredths. Whoops. Or 5 per 100. And per 100 is percent, so that would be 5 per cent. And there you go, you have 5%, just like the way we did it with the ratio table. And of course, most of us would want to do it with a ratio table because who likes to divide? Okay, let's look at one more. And let's see what we have here. There are 96 animals on a farm. 48 of them are cows. What percent of the animals are cows? Okay, so again, we have the percent of the total is the part. And so we'll put percent of, what's the total here? Let's see. 96 animals, so 96 is the total, and of those 96 animals, 48 are cows. Okay, let's do a ratio table. Cows out of total animals. Okay, and we have 48 out of 96. And you may not see how possibly can we get to 100 because again, percent is out of 100. So we have to figure out how to get there. Well, I'm not really sure, and you may not be either. So I'm going to take this outside of the table. I'm going to write it as a ratio, and I'm going to do upside down division to simplify it. Well, I certainly know that they're both divisible by 2 because they're both even. And so I get 24 to 48. You can do that on a calculator if you don't trust me. Okay, and once I get here, I recognize what this fraction would be or what this ratio would be simplified, but maybe you don't. So let's try dividing it by 2 again. And 2 goes into 24 12 times. It goes into 48 24 times. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? We can now divide by 12. And 12 goes into 12 one time. It goes into 24 2 times. And so 48 out of 96 is actually equal to 1 out of 2, or 1/2. Okay? And, if you want, we always like to do this. We like to show our Amazon arrow. And what are we actually dividing by? Well, let's look at our common factors. We have 12 times 2 is 24. Oh, we're dividing by 48. That's silly. If I had started up here, I would have known that, right? Because divided by 48 is going to give me 1. And this is divided by 48, and that's going to give me 2. And so 2 times 50 is going to give me 100, and 1 times 50 is going to give me 50. And so that is going to be 50 out of 100, or 50%. And truthfully, once you get to the point where you know that it's 1 out of 2 or 1/2, 1/2 is a benchmark fraction. So you should know that that is equal to 50%. If we want to deal with it as a fraction, which we probably don't, but just in case, we would do 48 over 96. And that would be 48 divided by 96. Okay, and again, we would have to put the 2 zeros. Bring this up. 96 doesn't go into 4, it doesn't go into 48. It does go into 480, and you can use a calculator, that's fine. It goes in 5 times. And just to make sure, 5 6s are 30, 5 9s are 45, 46, 47, 48. And we get a 0 remainder, so we have a 0 here. And 0.50 is equal to 50 hundredths, or 50 per hundred, or 50 per cent. And that would be 50%. And those are the ways that we can find percent when given the part and the total.